ไม่ได้ยินอะไรไม่มีแต่รูป Hello everybody, Ajahn is ready now.
สวัสดีครับอาจารย์
ค่ะอาจารย์
สวัสดีครับอาจารย์
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ
จริง
everyone.
Yes, please start. Okay.
Ajahn, can I ask you a question regarding the kata vatu you've been talking about last time, and the first one is not that all the words that can help detachment from the self are the first kata vatu, and I think Tambak was saying that in the Visuddhimagga it seems like it's a different meaning, but I think that once you explained it, it's easier to see the real meaning in Tipitaka, which is not as so easy and simple as it would seem, and also asking about the second kata vatu, which is some saga. I forgot the name. I'll have to come back to that.
Please excuse me, everybody. Yeah, let's do it.
Hello, everyone. We have computer technical problem. We've got some technical problems here as well.
Oh, really?
So everyone's having issues. Yes. Alberto, what were you? I just heard at the end you were asking something. What were you? Perhaps Ajahn is here now as well. Are you here, Ajahn? Maybe you can explain more about your question, Alberto. I only heard the end of it.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, Sawadee
Yes,
Khan.
Ajahn. That's Sawadee Khan.
Hear you.
Yes, okay, Ajahn.
Can you hear us, Ajahn?
Yes.
I think Alberto was just asking a question. I just asked him to repeat it because I didn't hear it either. Carry on, Alberto.
He talked about the Kathavatu, right? Kathavatu is having no attachment or no part at all. Can you hear me? Kathavatu is
We can hear you not clearly, Ajahn. Not
Yeah.
clear.
Please wait. Kun Alberto, can you hear me?
Sorry, Ajahn, can you say it again?
Can you hear me
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
clearly?
Better now, Ajahn.
Better, better.
We talk about Kathavatu, and Kathavatu is the subject or object about having no attachment, no lopa at all, from stage to stage until the end. There's no lopa at all, but it has to be little by little in order to have no lopa at all. It cannot be all at once. That's why even what you call in Pali, Sandot in Thai, Kun Jonathan, Sandot in Pali, Santuti or what, I couldn't remember, about Kathavatu, having no lopa.
The first one is apicca kata.
Yes. Can there be lopa all at once now? Impossible. That's why in daily life one should understand the moment when there is lopa and when there is no lopa, or when there is very strong lopa and very little lopa. But at the end, the moment without lopa is the moment of enlightenment, completely having no lopa. But it has to be begun from moment right now. And right now is not the one which has gone. When we say now it's gone, each one is gone. That's why understanding intellectually about how to be no lopa at all at the end, but not at the very beginning. For example, if we just be not disturbed by wanting so much, the Kathavatu tell us about how to have very little, just being satisfied of what we have. When we have it already, see, no lopa to have more or less or whatever, but appreciate what is there as it is, as one has already. Whatever comes, that is one way to have less lopa, on and on until it becomes one's habit. Before understanding that at that moment, when we mean there's no lopa, it means lopa with attachment to the idea of self. Is the lopa now? See, in what number is the Kathavatu of this moment of having lopa? All depends on understanding the truth of whatever is there as it is. If there is no understanding that now there is lopa, it's impossible to get rid of that. But by having understanding at that very moment as it is the beginning of seeing lopa that it's there, to let go by panya, understanding better and better. So I think that in order to understand realities right now, there should be the considering about the truth of it, of just now, whatever is there. Now there is lopa, we can say, but it's only estimation, speculation, thinking that it's there. But in truth, panya has to pierce or penetrate the moment when it's there, no matter in the corner, lurking there, or whatever should be known. Understanding it, otherwise there cannot be letting go it. So it's not thinking to let go anything, but understanding the truth of it first, that actually what is that, no one there. That's why if there's the firm understanding about there's no one at all, it's the beginning of understanding each word of the Buddha as no one there at all. Even lopa is lopa, no one. So the point is understanding the truth that actually there's no one, no thing at all. Just appearing and disappearing from moment to moment, even right now. But it's hidden, covered up by not understanding the truth. That's why we learn to understand whatever appears now as a reality, different ones. So there can be more understanding of that cannot be self, that cannot be self, because it's just that as it is. Even lopa is subject of Kathavatu. When you get something, do you appreciate that? Or it should be better than that? See, even a little bit, see, it's so very, very subtle to understand, because whatever is there, just very short, and then it's gone completely. What is left is the meaning, is the nimitta, image of
Last time I mentioned about the sutta. Can you hear me?
the what?
Can you
Two.
turn your Ajahn, can you hear me?
Yes, but I cannot get it.
Sorry. Last time I mentioned about the Katawatu Sutta, which talks about the topics of discussion and what is suitable and not suitable. And we know, of course, that in the end, what is suitable depends on whether there's understanding at this moment, no matter the topic. How does this relate to what you were just talking about, the Katawatu, the different stages of Loba?
So let's talk about just the first Kathavatu. What is that?
Is it the talk on modesty? Is this, or are we talking about something different? Because I was just looking at the Katawatu Sutta.
The first
It's,
Contentment
10
with
of
people,
them,
right?
10 Kathavatu. Are
Uh,
there 10 of
it's,
I believe it's contentment with people.
Contentment. Okay, talk on modesty or contentment. Yeah. Oh, that's the second one. I think the first one is modesty and the second one contentment
So
and third seclusion. So
just talk
modesty.
this one. What is that?
I think that on modesty, is it on being easy to please without mana? And I would have to look at the Pali. I've only got the English translation.
Because I thought that it's all about attachment, lopa, and the 10 Kathavatu concerns the different degrees of lopa, from just craving for something and wanting so much, or just not being satisfied with what one has. But start from the very, very beginning. To me, I had learned that from Pali, it means that no lopa at all, leading to having no lopa at all. Kathavatu.
Yes, because the final one is the knowledge of vision and release. It means the attainment of arahat, no loba at all. So it's,
And
as
that
you say,
the first,
degree.
see, that cannot be the first one. It has to start little by little to have
Yeah.
less and less lopa.
Yes,
In
like
that
you say, beginning there has to be more contentment and easy to please, easy to satisfied.
yes,
And the first one, I need to check what it means by modesty, less concern about oneself, perhaps.
the way
Do you know
one
what
live in daily life
way one lives, simply or more easily?
without understanding there is craving all the time, more or less in a day, right? No understanding of the teaching leads to having no lopa at the end at all. But if you don't know what is there in daily life, how can it become less? If we just want and want and want all day for this and that, how can that be moment of its lopa, adding each moment more and more and more, and that cannot lead to the end having no lopa at all. That's why I talk about the truth of every life, that there is craving. No matter it's known or unknown, it's there. Even right now, as long as there's no understand, the moment of it's there, not understanding. So there is craving to understand or craving to know what it is. That is the way to learn to understand lopa in daily life, that is so common in daily life. So if there is less with understanding of the danger of it, and the end not having it at all, that is the best thing. But it has to do little by little to begin from understanding that in the day there's so much lopa for food, for whatever is there that is now. One just want to have it or like to have it, it's there. But to learn to understand the modesty, where it is less lopa, because knowing lopa, that it's just like a dream. At moment of wanting, it's just like a dream for that, because it's not there yet. So one learns to understand that moment instead of thinking or dreaming about anything. So it's the way to understand lopa in daily life in order to have it less and less because of understanding the truth.
Yes, I think the first one is apicca kata, fewness of wishes is another way to put it. So just, and then the second one is santuti kata, contentment. So just a little less wishing, as you say, even at this moment, even at this moment of having discussion, and then contentment and a little more contentment.
Yeah, and it has to do with right understanding, not just try oneself to do that. It's impossible because who knows what level of attachment is there now. But from understanding the katawatu, one understands, oh, it is that level or this level at moment of being contented to what is there, not just that which has come yet or we wish to have it. See, different level of lopa. And when there's more panya, it can understand lopa as a self. So if there is still the idea of self, there must be lopa for sure. Attachment to the idea of that as it's me or it's mine. And in order to have no lopa at all, at the end, it has to begin in daily life to understand the way one lives with strong lopa, dreaming for this or that, just wishing and wanting and try so hard to get it someday. That is lopa. It hasn't come yet. It cannot come as one life. It depends on conditions. So all the teachings of the Buddha is about understanding what is meant, like katawatu. What does it mean and what for?
So the term kata watu, so the watu is the referring to the stages of the talk about less and less loba. What is the exact meaning of kata and watu?
Understanding the truth that in order to have no lopa, there must be no one, no self. If there is still I, there must be attachment at different level.
And it's good to be reminded that even at this moment, even talking about the loba now, how loba arises, and it can be quite strong even now, like when I was just trying to find the Pali term, loba, instantly trying to catch that detail or find the term, or when there was a technical problem a few moments ago, lobha to getting rid of the issues. So it's so daily life at any moment, even now, even while we're talking or listening.
Understanding each word of the Buddha deeper and deeper can condition moment of understanding the truth, which is so deep and so subtle. Because what we are talking about is that which is there by conditions arising and falling away, all are anatta. All the teachings of the Buddha lead to the understanding of the truth of no self, no one, anatta and sunyata as well. No more, just very short moment.
And one can see how easily it's misunderstood, like the third one in the translation, they say seclusion. Well, it's paviveka kata, so it's the seclusion at this moment when there's no lobha now. That's so easy to misunderstand. And the same with all the other ones. Yes.
That's why we understand that all 10 lead to the last one. No lobha at all, no kilesa at all. Otherwise, there cannot be moment of paying attention to the reality right there, as one has learned before.
The last one is vimutti jnana dasana kata, kata, so the knowledge of the release and vision. Yes, it's very helpful to think of them in terms of less and less lobha, just beginning with a little more fewness of wishes, a little more contentment, and so on.
To see the danger of lobha, that's it conditioned by avijja. That's why only vicca or panya to understand each of kathavatu, because it's a daily life. Depending on whether it is at level of intellectual understanding, which will lead when it's enough to be conditioned for direct understanding of what we learned and understood before from number one. See, all are the truth in life, in daily life, about lobha.
I have a question. One of the books of the Abhidhamma is also named Katavatu. So does it have the same meaning in that context, or it has something different?
That's why we have to learn each word. So what is that from the first one? Number one, how many of Kathavatu that you are talking about now, the same or different?
More than 200, right?
Kathavatu?
In the context of the one of the books of the Abhidhamma, it talks about like over 200 points of controversial ideas. In this context, it's like you said, it started with wanting little and so on. So it has to do with less and less lobha, and I think that makes sense completely. But I'm wondering about the meaning of Kathavatu then.
That's why can we say that Kathavatu only one or 10 or 100 or the whole book?
Okay.
It doesn't matter at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even one is there in the book Kathavatu. 2 is there too. 3, depending on understanding. The most important thing is that we have heard so many words, but we pay not enough attention to each word, which will bring more and more understanding, deeper and deeper of each reality as it's different. that it cannot be taken for self or anything permanent at all. And that is the right way to study the teachings, because we understand the aim, the goal, the destination. That all about no one, no self, and no thing. What is now at this moment is in the Tipitaka, in different books. It's in there, here, and then some book or some words, some pages. They are the different reminders of different situations.
Alberto, did you have anything else you wanted to ask about Katawatu?
Yeah. Yes, it makes lots of sense, because we when we start, we just take Loba for me, and for being and for person, and that's not the Katavatu at all, because anybody can say have little wishes, have little, or be content, or don't, that sort of conventional thinking. But that's not Katavatu at all, because without really understanding Loba as not me, not you, not anybody, that's just talking in conventional terms, not the Buddha's word, not the Buddha's teachings, and the only way is to really listen to his teachings, and really understand what he means when he says Katavatu, and when he says Apicca Kata, and he says Santutti Kata, and he says Samsaga, and all the other Pali terms. They're more deeper than when you just read in the translation, and you just actually Loba just touches instantly, and tries to do what is in, just to try to do what the words say, but there's nothing to do really. It's just to understand the word as a reality, not as a conventional term. Like
Yes, Loba would like to be more contented or have more fewness of wishes, but this is completely the opposite of what is being said. Yes. Loba would like to change the present reality. That's the opposite of the Katawatu.
Exactly, yes. But when we hear Ajahn, then we understand better what the Buddha meant when he was talking about Katavatu. So it's good to hear.
It's that content to understand the truth of a reality right now directly. See, another way, another meaning of being content. Otherwise, it's the Loba, a little, unknown there, because we do not wish for any other thing. But what about not this object? What about the other object? See, that's why some people try to concentrate on breath, not the other thing. See, no contentment. So each word has its very different level and very subtle too of each. To be content, I'm well today. I don't want this or that. I don't cry for, wish for anything. It's that content to understand this moment as it is, not the other moment.
And if this moment is Loba, being content that it's Loba, to understand the Loba just as it is. Because it can't be any other way when it's conditioned like that. So contentment can come in any time at all, even in the middle of the Loba or in the middle of the dosa or whatever. Just that moment of understanding of contentment anytime.
That's right. The understanding of content is deeper and deeper until it's now at this moment. So true.
Ajahn, I was struggling to understand the idea of having less and less attachment. What I understand is that for Sotapanna, there's no more attachment associated with wrong understanding. For an Anagami, no more sensuous attachment. And Arahata, no more attachment at all. So I couldn't understand the idea of having less and less attachment. But just now you talked about being contented with whatever is arising now. So is this also having less attachment in general?
It depends. For example, if you is a person who is very difficult to eat, you need more sweet or sour or bitter taste, not just that which is there. See, it's that content or no content.
But Chan, until we reached Anagami, there's always attachment, and it's a matter of
before that, how much or how less when it has panya with it. See?
But even if it arises now, some understanding, it's only for a moment, and after that, there's forgetting, no more as attachment again, and wanting more again.
But if you don't understand the teachings of the Buddha about content, do you have it more by yourself?
It will happen when the kilesas are still there.
Understanding about what for, it's just a rise and falls away in split second, and then sunyata, no more. So what for? What's the word of harm yourself at that moment of wanting or wishing? Well, no more. Even that which wants, or that which is there, or what which has come, or that which hasn't come yet. See, Lopa is there all the time. When there's no understanding of no self and no thing.
But even a Sotapanna can have strong attachment to sensuous objects.
The content of that before becoming a Sotapanna. Before becoming a Sotapanna, no content of understanding whatever appears at all. That's why there are many face or whatever you call profile or whatever of just a reality, different ways, unknown that it's there, it's lopa, not understanding what is there now, see, as it is. Even one learn about satipatthana and so on, but what about this moment? Is it contented enough not to not to understand this reality? But what about at the moment? See,
But that also gives rise to another problem, because we understand that understanding is the leader. So why suddenly it sounds as if Lopa is the leader? I mean, contentment, because it's only understanding uh, which leads to contentment.
and at that moment, it's a content.
When there's understanding, there's no Lopa.
And this is the big difference between the person who is not sotapanna and person who was sotapanna. See, even content or contentment, it's not just what we think about content, but it's the reality of each absolute reality, Paramadadhamma.
So is it correct to say that a Sotapanna's attachment to sensuous object is not the same as Pituchana's attachment? There's less uh, clinging and more contentment
No,
for
I
Sotapanna.
at all, absolutely gone, completely, never to arise again in samsara, because it's contented of understanding this moment as it is, leading from in life, daily life, begin to have less and less attachment and be content to that which is there.
And Sukin, no misunderstanding at all, like while eating, even if there's strong attachment to certain tastes, but no wrong idea that actually it's the clinging is anything worthy, because one knows that being easy to please or content with whatever arises because it's gone instantly is so precious. So the understanding brings more contentment, even if strong attachment arises from time to time. But the danger of strong attachment is understood more and more, that the problem is the attachment, not the anything to do with the food or the situation. So the understanding is the leader, but by considering the value of contentment or being easy to please or understanding whatever is conditioned, whatever appears now, that contentment grows. But understanding is the leader. Without the understanding, it will all be taken for my attachment or my contentment. So this isn't what the Buddha's talking about at all.
I mean, that's why it always starts with understanding that it's not self. It's not.
But it's
It's
like when we talk about the paramis, the various paramis and qualities such as the santuti, the contentment, support the development of understanding. They develop together with it. And the gradual reduction of attachment, because when one's swept away with strong attachment, no wise consideration, no understanding at those moments. One's just addicted to the sense pleasures. But understanding can come in any time. But one can see that when there isn't contentment, it's harder for understanding to develop when there's so little contentment with what appears at this moment. So they develop together. All these qualities that we talk about so often, like patience and nekama and aditana and so on, they all develop together with the understanding, and contentment too. Contentment with whatever appears, because one knows it's conditioned at this moment. It can't be any other way, so what's the use of wishing it to be something different at this moment?
What do you think, Sarah, being swept away? Because I don't see any problem with being swept away. As you say, Panya can come in any time, but being swept away may be indication of not enough lopa also, not enough understanding.
So it's all by accumulation. So at those times of being swept away, when there's strong lobha, for example, strong addiction to some intoxicants, or strongly lost in one's fantasy world of lobha, then it hinders the development of understanding. That's why all kinds of kusala, such as the paramis, support the development of understanding. And it's true, understanding can anytime, even in the moment of, even at the time of being swept away by attachment. But when there is more contentment with what appears and less being swept away by strong attachment, then less hindrance to the development of understanding, because understanding develops with contentment, not with strong attachment. Like our friend on the discussion list always says, you know, when intoxicated with alcohol and following this and that pursuit, no thought about the teachings at those times. So when there is contentment and less strong lobha, then more conditions for understanding to develop, even though there can be understanding at any time, even in the middle of being intoxicated.
So at the same time, because is it understanding that gives rise to contentment and wanting little? So you can say that. So when one talks about content actually one also talks about understanding, right? It cannot be separated.
Cannot be separated. And I think it's like we were talking about last time about araka, protection, the right understanding of realities, even if it's just firm intellectual understanding, leads to the development of other kinds of kusala, which is a protection from going the wrong way or being so swept away by strong attachment. So contentment is a kind of protection that develops with understanding too. Content with what is, so that no need to grasp after other objects that aren't here. No need to wish for understanding of other realities, because life's just at this very moment.
And when we talk about anything without understanding, is that the words of the Buddha? When there's no understanding of even the word we are talking about, like content, we can use this word, but no understanding of the truth of it. Is that the teaching of the Buddha? Not to understand. So no matter what word he said, there must be the truth which can be understood. And we talk about it to understand it as no self and no one at all. The truth of it. Otherwise, it doesn't lead to understand the no self at all. Just talking about content or contentment, we can think about many different things, but is that the understanding of the contentment itself as a reality? See?
It has to come back to the contentment with what appears now, with what arises at this moment. So it has to
Two
be
we
developed
are
with
talking about.
parami, truthfulness and understanding. Otherwise, it's just a conventional idea again.
So it's useless to talk about anything without understanding at all. But no matter we are talking about what, it can be the understanding of that which we are talking as it is, as not sound. It will lead little by little to understanding firmer and firmer about no one there. Because when we are talking about content, it's not I, it's not me, it's that which is there as a reality. So can we say that we understand reality or just understand the meaning of it? Not the characteristic of it yet, but it will lead to understanding the moment when it's there. And by then, no word at what level it is. It is just like you talk about the taste at moment of tasting. Can you explain that to anyone? When that person does not taste that at all.
That's right. They can hear a long, long description about the taste of a mango or the taste of a tomato, but if it's never been experienced, it's just a story about the taste, just an explanation.
And what we are talking about, the taste, it's not that which is tasted, see? And after taste it, can you talk about it so the other can understand what that taste is? Nowhere, because it must be tasted by oneself. No matter how much we explain, it's not just like the moment of tasting it. It's just like contentment or anything or any reality. We learn to understand from hearing and considering that it has to be there, but it's not the moment when it's there to be directly known, when it appears.
And when we grew up as children, we were told, oh, be content with whatever you're given to eat and be easy to please and all these things. But without the Buddha's teaching, it's all taken for my or this person or that person's easy to please or being contented with what they eat, but not the understanding of contentment as Dhamma, or being easy to please as Dhamma, not my easy to please or my contentment. It's all just a passing Dhamma and understanding what is wholesome at that moment, not the situation at all. So we can see how deep the teachings are. So the same terms that we're used to from when we're children, but the meaning is quite different because it just refers to a moment, a citta now, not belonging to anyone at all.
So, Chan, it seems that when we talk about things like seeing, tasting, smelling, touching, thinking, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, these things everyone experiences. It's one thing, but when we start talking about things like contentment, there's more danger of misunderstanding than when we talk about those other.
But to understand the difference between attachment and contentment,
But only just thinking about it, because even attachment we don't understand. So what is not to be attached is even more difficult to understand.
When you are contented, would you like to have something more?
But that's a very
That's
conventional idea. It's like you can talk to anyone about contentment and they have similar ideas about.
is the only idea, or is it the truth?
There has to be the truth there, but it's not known, it doesn't appear.
That's why there are many levels of understanding. This is intellectual understanding to know about whatever we haven't known before, like contentment and attachment. See, so much attachment. Does it mean that there's no contentment at that moment? To see, but what is better? We all have attachment, but should we keep it on and on more and more, or understanding that it's not the right way or the benefit of having more and more? What we like is that which is not good, because usually we think that we like good things, but in the truth, you like that which is not good too, like loba. See, so we begin to understand the difference of realities because each one has many, many levels. Some are very subtle, like aswa. See, don't mind about that because what can be known, can be studied, must be that which appears. It's impossible to understand that which does not appear at all. But what about that which appears and there's no understanding, which can be understood if we know, if we understand what is there, the use of it from hearing and considering. This is the way to have contentment and less attachment. See, depending on understanding from the meaning of the word and to understand the shadow of it. Like we do not see the tree, but see the shadow of the tree. And when we understand that shape or nimitta, and we know that when there is the experience of the tree, it's different. That is only the shadow, and this is the truth. Like we learn about attachment, where attachment is there, which is not known. What appears is only the shadow of that. That's why there are higher degree of understanding the truth, from intellectual understanding to the direct understanding, and must have panya together. Otherwise, it's not satipatthana or the development of understanding. So all the teachings are about understanding the truth.
It would seem to me that if there's contentment, it means there's no loba or dosa at that particular moment. That's basically.
Not at all, but very little, depending on panya to know what is what.
I beg your pardon?
When you get something, are you contented?
I can't.
Or would you like to have other thing, a different one, better color or smell or what? See? And if you are so attached to that, how can the less attached with contentment begin to be contented to whatever is there? Before
There's no loba or dosa going at that particular moment.
we have to understand the way we use the word and the way we understand the truth. At moment of loba, there must be other reality as well, right? That can arise together with loba. So we cannot have no loba at all in the beginning, but it can be less.
So we can also say that as we talked about seeing or hearing or whatever that is there at this moment, so actually it's about contentment, because otherwise we talked about object of attachment, and it's the opposite of so when we talk about like now, it's you can also say that actually it's about content, right?
Is it seeing?
I'm sorry?
Is contentment seeing?
No. But when we talk about seeing, and there's more understanding about what seeing is, or the object, like visible object or sound or whatever. So at that very moment, there is content.
Yeah.
I think, Tam, what you mean is that when we talk about understanding, seeing, hearing, and all, is like
Yes,
talking about it. Yeah.
yes.
So what is content or contentment?
Achan, is it the same as you often remind us about detachment? That is, the path is about detachment all the way.
When we talk about Kathavatu or the words of the Buddha, no matter in Sutta or Abhidhamma or Vinaya, from monk, contentment is better. Even there is lopa, but very, very less or lesser and lesser. We cannot say that what we get, we don't like it, we don't want it. It's there, but very little. But if we want something or that thing better than it is, lopa is there to be known because it's clear. But when it's not that level, it means that the lopa is not as high enough to be such, because of to be contented for whatever one gets. That's why the way to understand the teachings and the worthy of it is to have less and less ignorance and attachment until there are no more attachment because of no more ignorance.
Ajahn, can we say that it is contentment, it is sort of acceptance of whatever is arising because there's more understanding that it's conditioned? Use the word acceptance.
Can you say that you don't have lopa at all?
No.
Can you say that you have less lopa than before of such same thing, of the same thing?
Sometimes.
See? And if it's less and less and less, but it's still there, but there can be the moment of understanding the content of that. Because lopa is there until it's completely eradicated.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the teaching of the Buddha lead from strong lopa until less and less and less, until no more. And that is by Santuti of the Pali word for every word of Kathavatu. Less lopa, less lopa, less lopa.
So contentment then still, there is still lopa, but less and less because of more understanding. Is that right?
So you understand what moment there's no lopa from the teachings of the Buddha.
I see.
Otherwise, there can be just one word, no lopa at all. But it's impossible. Lopa has to be there until They are all completely gone, eradicated. But before that, it become less and less. That's why Buddha used different words for kathavatu to indicate the different levels of lopa. It does mean that not lopa at all, like at the end.
Yes. Okay. So then it eventually before it's gone and there's no lopa, then we're talking about lopa at the level of the asavas?
Okay, when you have something, you get something, and someone asks, would you like another thing? You say that I have enough.
Oh, okay.
To show how less level is there. Use the word content.
I see. Thank you. That helps.
That's why we can see the different ways of life. People is so greed. They just want and want and want, not understand what's meant by contentment. And some can see that that is enough, that's all right. Okay for me. Never, don't need more. That is content different.
Yes.
Until it's completely gone, eradicated by very high panya.
Okay. Thank you.
So read the Kathavatu again, one by one, and see the difference.
And we can see that when we read in texts about monks and the fewness of wishes and all these different examples, that actually it's referring to the development of understanding, which leads to more contentment, fewer wishes, and so on. And I think sometimes, Jan, you mention about how the understanding works its way, and one can see that when people developing understanding, the way of living is a little different because the priorities are different, because one knows that understanding is more important than having all the tastiest of food or having the best sightseeing or anything else. So I think one can see that the understanding works its way and leads to more contentment with life as it is wherever one is, however life goes, but slowly.
Noun can come noun. ถ้าเป็น adjective ก็ content. Is there contentment now? See, to be understood as not self, not me, but no selection, no choice to just want to understand this. It depends on when it's there, who can choose the object for that which hasn't, which does condition to arise. Not anyone can select this object for moment of satipatthana or anything at all. The anatthaness must appear clearer and clearer because all are anatta, but not known yet.
Hello, Nina. Did you want to add anything or ask anything on this or any topic?
Yes, about Satipatthana, because we read a lot about Satipatthana and think about it, talk about it, but we never know the difference between thinking about realities and being aware of realities. But this can only come when Panya has been developed to the stage of direct understanding. So when Ajahn asks us, know the difference between when there is a moment of sati and no sati, we cannot answer this very well because we only know the theory. And it's also about Satipatthana, the 4 applications of mindfulness. And that is a good subject, I think, to consider more and discuss more.
So if there isn't any understanding now of whether there is sati or not sati, is there contentment at this moment? Or does one wish to have more understanding?
I find it very difficult. So then when I say I find it difficult, there's no contentment.
No content, that's the point. So it's like wishing to know, wishing to pinpoint. So that's the opposite of santuti or fewness of wishes, not being satisfied with what appears, but wishing to have more understanding or understand another object.
Yes.
So it always comes back to this moment.
So now we begin to learn about, to understand the moment which is sati and which is satipatthana, right? Otherwise, it's impossible at all without the words of the Buddha. That's why, what is the object of satipatthana? We talk about satipatthana and then we will lead to other things. So when you think about satipatthana, you'd like to understand the characteristic of satipatthana. What is satipatthana? When there's no understanding of what is now as it is, as not self, there cannot be condition for satipatthana at all. That's why we learn from the very beginning, pariyatti, about what is there now. There is seeing, and there is that which is seen only through at that very moment. No other thing can appear as object of that moment at all. Only what is seen now, just now, is there. See, can this be understood? Even we don't talk about it, but it's there to be studied, to be understood, to be learned to know that actually that which is seen cannot be anyone, anything at all. And what is seen or what can be seen, only that which impinge on the eye base. If that does not impinge on the eye base, it cannot be seen, see. So we think that we see many, many things. It's wrong because actually only one tiny reality which impinge on the eye base. And the impingement is not like the glass put on the table at all, but it's nama. See, when we think about the term or the word of nama, the reality, which does not have shape, color, smell, or anything at all, it's just arise to experience an object. See, only that. Keep in your mind because it does not appear like that yet, even it's there all day, all night, from birth to death. There cannot be any moment without that which arises and experiences to be living person, not died yet. See, that's why it's there, but it cannot be easily known. But from hearing again and again, and actually at this moment of seeing, it's there. Which see, which see. which means it knows, it experiences that which appears. Otherwise, that cannot appear at all. This will lead to the satipatthana. But without this understanding, it's impossible just to talk about satipatthana and take that which is satipatthana as satipatthana, which is wrong. That's why the understanding of no one, no self has to be so firm enough to condition moment of directly, unknowingly of what object of that, because it hasn't arisen yet. Only when sammasati, which understand the truth of that which appears, no matter through eyes or ears, nose, tongue or body or mind, be understood as not self, not anything at all, and learn to understand that each moment is different. If we don't read about the process of citta, at the moment which experiences visible object, the moment which experiences sound, there is no idea that what are there in between. It seems like nothing in between, seeing and hearing at all. But in truth, from the enlightenment and the teachings of the Buddha, we know that that can be known is that which appears, though we cannot understand the moment before seeing and the moment after seeing, which experience the same thing. From understanding this, it let go a little misunderstanding of whatever is now appearing. See, begin so very little at a time before it can be the direct moment, the direct awareness of a reality right now by itself, by conditions, unexpectedly. See, what is meant by unexpectedly means that it hasn't arisen before, and no one can choose the time or the place or the object for it to arise at all. And this indicates the anatterness of everything. See, from hearing this and that all together as no one and nothing at all, and no wishing, hoping for direct awareness, but without understanding the truth of whatever appears, it's impossible to have direct awareness, because it's no one, it's not, I am aware of this, I would like to understand or be aware of this at all. That is not the teachings of the Buddha, because actually all are anatta. That's why if this is remembered, not forget, it can condition the understanding of whatever is there from moment to moment to be conditions for the moment of direct awareness to arise. See, unexpectedly, to understand that all are anatta, even satipatthana is anatta. So when there's no wishing or hoping for satipatthana, we can begin, there can be the beginning of seeing the difference between touching, hardness, know nothing about hardness and touching. But at moment of touching, it can be a moment of beginning to think just about that, even not direct awareness of a reality right then, but it begins to just think as the beginning of the direct awareness, to know that, oh, it's only hardness, that is not table or thing at all. Even very shortly, it is the beginning of moments of another level of understanding, not only intellectual understanding, because it's there at that moment to know or understand by thinking, not yet the direct awareness, until, oh, that is only thinking, but it's there, even there's no thinking. See, can lead to moment of directly aware with understanding, even very short moment. It is different from moment of sati, which understands that reality as intellectual understanding. See, Intl.Dhamma panya as a hearing until it can be Pavana panya. All are anatta. That is a Khanti Parami with Virya Parami, with Satya Parami, with Adidana Parami, and also with other Parami like Nekama Parami. To leave or let go, they cling to that as usual. And something there. It's the way to letting go all the way, not just want to have it, would like to know it, just leave it to conditions for Panya to arise instead of avijja and wish lopa to arise.
So you speak about the beginning of Satipatthana, and that is also thinking in the right way about realities.
Yes. So can there be just hearing without thinking? Or after not hearing anymore, there can be conditioned for just thinking about that because there is firm understanding, condition that moment that, oh, there can be moment of thinking about the truth in different way. It's not there forever, just that moment only, see? There can be such thought about the truth of reality before there can be moment of direct awareness. But when it's enough, so much to be upa nisaya kojra, it araka, even the moment of akusala, not to think in its own way before, but of what has been learned before, until it araka, the moment that it is the direct awareness. Not to be only intellectual understanding level. Leave it to Dhamma, anattanas. That is panya, see. So panya is not the understanding so keenly about that which is heard, but the moment after that, see, there can be panya of different degrees, cintamaya panya, thinking about that, uncontrollable, but there are conditions enough to think. That's why we know that it's so very, very subtle. It's a very, very long way from life to life. And Khanti Barami, let go the idea of try to have it so hard as much as one thing that it can be, but it's the I who think that it can be. By the I, try so much, and that is wrong. So araka, the moment to be kusala of different level, it doesn't matter until it is moment of direct awareness. Because actually, it's so natural, like now. So what lack is no understanding, not understanding enough to condition right understanding with direct awareness. At moment of direct awareness, it means that as it is direct, nothing can appear besides that which is the object and that which experience, until it can be vipassana jnana, the same from the development from moment to moment of direct awareness. To know that it's not thinking, it's not just learning from the intellectual understanding, but from understanding, from hearing and considering, will condition moment of direct awareness of that which is there to be known, even while there is direct understanding right now, even there is the only intellectual understanding right now. See, right now there is seeing and that which is seeing, but it's not the time for panya to be so keen enough, well enough to arise with direct awareness to understand it. So it's just time of development of understanding to understand this moment of seeing, hearing, or whatever is there by conditions. And by conditions means that it let go the idea of self. No one can do anything. It has done its job or function at moment of understanding. No one. Otherwise, it's more idea of self, which will prolong the understanding of the truth that actually there's no one. So when Panya is so keen enough, it doesn't matter at all whether there is direct awareness today or not. If there's no direct awareness, it's not me. See, the understanding of no self stronger enough to not mind about whatever is there as before. That, oh, I feel sad when there's no direct awareness today. How long? Maybe months or years. It doesn't matter. That's why Sariputta can directly understand the truth because of his panya is enough to let go the clinging to the idea of self.
And that's the whole point, that the sound now that is heard is just sound, just exactly as we've always heard about it. And it just entirely depends on conditions, whether the understanding now is intellectual understanding or direct understanding or vipassana jnana understanding, but it's anatta and it doesn't matter because it's conditioned just that way at this moment.
Ajahn, I'd like to hear about Satipatthana. Why it's Satipatthana and not Samadhipatthana or Saddhapatthana or Viriyapatthana?
Because it has the characteristic of, in Thai, we call relik chop. When we use the word relik in Thai, it can mean short or long, memory about this or that, thinking about this and that. Many, many moments, not only one moment, but direct awareness is just a moment, different from what we take for sati in different language, like in Thai. So it means that not forget to understand this moment. For example, hardness is there now, it's touch. When there's no hearing about the truth, that actually there's nothing, only hardness, which is hard, which is the object, which is there as the object of seeing, of touching. See, no idea about this at all day, all life, when there's no understanding of it. But when there is understanding from hearing, considering, it's not all the time, only sometime when there are conditions for that to arise. We don't know how long it has developed, from how many life, we don't know. But the moment when it arises, it means that there must be conditions to understand that with direct awareness of that object. So when we think, it seems like we follow the thing. Thinking of that which is seen means that thinking follow that which is seen, right? Not think about the other thing. It does not follow the other object, but it just after seeing it thinks after, and follow it closer and closer and closer to be sati. But in truth, it's there together. Like seeing and hearing seems they are together. Who can separate it? But only the understanding of the processes, many processes in between, we can see that that which does not appear is there. So many things. That's why when Sammasati is there, it seems at the same time of experiencing that object. But in reality, different process. So we don't have to think about how many processes at all, because even now, how many processes and how many processes in between just seeing and hearing. They sing together. So it's just a way to understand and let go. Leave it to Sankhara and Dhammas. No me at all. By thinking about the I can do, or I can help, or I can try. So they see now why it's not direct awareness and understanding yet, because not enough understanding, as no one knows self. There is the attachment unknown as asava. See?
So it is very helpful what all you say to consider it again and again. And we can never hear enough about it, that there is no one who can do anything. It's a very good reminder.
Yeah. One doesn't leave panya alone. See, but seeing that without hearing and considering, there cannot be food for panya to develop or to grow at all. That's why we listen and listen and listen and understanding little by little, more and more, until they can be conditioned to condition direct awareness unknowingly, unexpectedly, as anatta. It shows the anattanness for more understanding of no self, no one. Little by little, from moment to moment.
And it's really the trap of Loba when there's the clinging to the idea that there should be more understanding, or how can it be developed, rather than being content with whatever understanding there is now, or whatever appears now as it is. And one doesn't see that trap of Loba, that subtle clinging to the doing something or finding another way, is actually the real hindrance to the development of understanding, to the development of satipatthana. So it can come in any time at all. So that's why the contentment with what is and what appears now is actually very important, and develops with understanding of reality now. It's the opposite of trying to do, or trying to find a way, or trying to find a formula, or trying to have more understanding.
Or Sarah, as we say, refer to so often trying to work it out all the time, and energy we spend trying to work it out is
Clinging to the thinking, to the story, and behind the idea of trying to work it out, it is the idea that I can work it out.
right.
So the idea of only I think about this more, or work out the story, or how to get from A to B, then suddenly there will be more understanding. But actually behind it, it's the idea of I can somehow control, I can somehow make it happen.
Right.
So it's clinging to self again, not just accepting and being content and understanding what appears now.
Well, and I think it's because there is a recognition that there isn't understanding of what appears now, is what motivates self to try to work it out.
Possible.
Ignorance,
Impossible, right.
clinging with you. And also just attachment, wanting it to be other than it is at this moment.
Yeah.
That's why even each level of vipassana jhana, lopa can be there.
Yeah.
Until it's known clearly, the anicca, dukkha, anatta. Not just only that, including lopa and everything, enough to condition higher understanding level.
Right. Lopa always wants more.
But understanding knows little by little, not me. The best thing is to understand no self. That has to be the firstly to eradicate, to be eradicated. Not eradicate the attachment in the beginning at all, but at the very end. Even anagami still have this different level of attachment that has to be known. Otherwise, it cannot be eradicated. When it's not panya at level of sattvanna yet, it cannot see the very, very subtle lopa. But after develop more and more understanding of no self, the idea of the self is less and less and less until the sotapanna arises and eradicate the idea of self forever. Absolutely no more. But there is still lopa. Because lopa attached to everything. What lopa cannot attach to is only the lokuttara Dhamma. Only that. Even vipassana jhana, after that has fallen away, lopa can be there. Until it's known, it has to be known. Otherwise, it cannot be eradicated.
Achan, you just mentioned about knowing the subtle loba. What about for the people who develop samatha? They are the people also who have to know very subtle loba, right?
What is anatta?
Sorry, can you say again?
What is anatta?
What is anatta? Ondama.
Or Dhamma?
So they know subtle loba, but they don't know them at anatta, right? That's the difference between.
When there is the understanding at level of sotapanna, no more lopa, which takes the reality for I or something permanent at all. But still, there is lopa of other things. Do you like the false diamond, pearl, and so on? They look the same. Even one knows that it's not real one, but the light of that appearance is there.
Achan, is it that Sotapanna, even though still has a lot of attachment to sense objects, a Sotapanna understands asava, whereas a person developing samatha can never understand asava.
How they understand asava?
A Sotapanna can understand that what is asava, but someone who has samatha, panya at the level of samatha at any level does not know about asavas.
It doesn't know the truth of anything.
So in the case of a Sotapanna, understanding asava is knowing subtle lopa, whereas someone who understands, who is developing samatha, but no understanding of the Buddha's teachings, does not understand lopa at that certain level.
When there's no idea of self or thing, permanent thing at all, it means that no more asava at all. No more anusya at all, because of the understanding of that. And Sotapanna understanding as long as Sotapanna understanding the lopa as long as it's not the arahata yet.
Yeah, John, when you say Sotapanna, no more asava, do you mean just no more dit asava, and the asava, the wrong understanding of self?
Is there lopa now?
Yes.
Do you know?
Not directly.
Not the reality of it, not the
No.
lopa itself, but the understanding that it's there.
Intellectual understanding.
What level?
Intellectual.
See,
Pariyati.
see, because you see that we can understand that which is very, very clear or strong enough, which appear like I see a glass. I cannot tell whether there is attachment to that already. But when it's so pretty, the light is there, attachment is there to be known. That's why that which can be known must be great enough or strong enough to be known. Otherwise, it cannot be known. But when it's not there anymore, we know that even asava is not there. Because of panya, which experience the arising and falling away and the truth until panya develops to the degree that it can attain enlightenment, the Ariya Satya, the Four Noble Truths. No more at all. Not trying to know that which does not appear. We don't know as anusaya, but when there's no more at all, it means that there is no anusaya as well, either. No conditions anymore to have such happening.
Mm.
And can Panya select to understand the arising and falling away of this or that?
No.
Otherwise, it is atta. See, all the way must be the growth of understanding and nothingness, little by little.
And you're right, Anne, only Ditasava is
Yeah.
no longer arises for the Sotapanna. And when Sukin was mentioning about the Sotapanna understands asavas, well, no more Ditasava, but even the very subtle attachment to sense objects or to becoming, or the very subtle ignorant, most of the time unknown, because it's only eradicated, the very subtle ignorance and the very subtle attachment to just being is only eradicated by the arahats. So even then, long way to go before those very subtle kinds of ignorance and attachment are eradicated.
Thank you.
Is this Kathavatu what we are talking about? See,
Yes.
leading to having less attachment.
Understanding more about the danger of attachment of different degrees and the value of understanding and being more contented at this moment. So it is Katawatu.
And it's also Gochara, right? Upanisaya Gochara.
It is.
Understand what is it? Clearer. Because understanding this moment.
And that's why without Upanisya Gochara, understanding more about different realities now, considering more about what appears right now, how it's just sound that's heard now, the ideas about the sounds or anything else, without hearing about these different realities and without the development of Upanisya Gochara, there can never be Satipatthana or direct understanding of those realities, Upanibandha Gochara. So this is why we discuss, this is the purpose.
Is there Upanibandha Gochara now?
No.
Not yet.
Yes or no?
No.
No.
No means no understanding of it at all. But it has to be the beginning. See?
Yes.
If this is not the beginning, how can it grow? So it's the as the beginning.
So Upanisaya Gochara then is the beginning.
And at the moment when you do not have akusla as before, it is the araka Gochara until it araka from not direct awareness to be direct awareness. Upanibandha.
So, Achan, you're saying that it's Araka Gochara even when it's not Satipatthana?
Yeah. Because there cannot be always Satipatthana. There are different level of kusala in a day. Moments of direct awareness and moment of kusala without direct awareness. And without that, which is not direct awareness, how can there be condition for direct awareness?
And again, that's where the contentment and the development of all the paramis come in, conditioned by the understanding, and how they have to support and nurture that understanding to condition direct understanding and for it to develop. So it needs the support of all those other kusala qualities in order to grow and be firm and condition the direct understanding.
Is there you?
Can you say that, Ajahn, again, please? That wasn't clear.
Is there you now?
No.
See, but the understanding of there is no me, little by little, can condition moment of direct awareness.
Mhm.
So, Achan, you're saying that when there's a firm intellectual understanding that there is no me, that's already araka.
Any moment which is kusala, what araka, the moment to be kusala, not to be akusala.
It's for
Yes. Thank you very much, Ajahn Anumodana. Appreciate
Achan.
Swatika.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you, Krab.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Hello to Dao.
Bye bye.
Oh, now he comes.
Hi. Good to see everyone.
Yeah.